Become the UnFuckWithAble. Who is yanking your chain? Who and what is disrupting your life? What outside forces are creating your reality? Join our Chief Metaphysician Jeff as he shares some amazing tools to protect yourself from outside forces that can disrupt your field. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, so first of all, I apologize to anybody that's easily offended. I probably will offend you tonight at some point. When I first started doing in-person workshops, we used to meet, at a local, I think it was a Buddhist temple, and hundreds of people showed up, and it was an amazing experience. And you can imagine how that energy gets moving. And I started talking about all the things that are going on and how people's fields are impacted and, by external circumstances, things out of their control. And I let a curse word slip out. And there was a woman in the audience. Nobody said anything, but this woman in the audience, she used to work at Phoenix Bookstore here in Columbus, which is a metaphysical bookstore. And one day I was down there visiting, talking to her, buying some books. And she says, I don't think I'm ever going to come back to another one of your events because you cursed. And I was taken aback by that at first. And then it was like, okay, I get it. I love you anyway. But I get passionate. And when I get passionate, things fly out my mouth. And I don't apologize for that, because I know what life can be. And I know how miserable life can be. And I know how people can be stuck in literally a living state of hell. And sometimes they need to hear a curse word or two and to be shaken to the roots, to be shaken to their core. So I don't apologize for that, but I do apologize if I offend you. So we're going to start with the reading as I have been opening these past few sessions. Do you really think and believe that millions of evolved souls would say yes to come to Earth just to die in a totalitarian New World Order? Absolutely not. We came here to flip this world upside down, back to its original state and more. We came here for the new Earth, for world peace, for the immortal golden age, for a new Eden. We came here for nothing less than to send a wave of light and love across the universe, signaling the birth of a new order of divine justice, peace, compassion, and love. All right, UnFuckWithAble. Definition: when you're truly at peace and in touch with yourself, and nothing anyone says or does can bother you, and no negativity or drama can touch you. Now, how many people can honestly say they're in that position? Honestly, at your core, every day. I'm going to reread it. UnFuckWithAble. When you're truly at peace and in touch with yourself, and nothing anyone says or does can bother you, and no negativity or drama can touch you. One of the key signs of living an enlightened life is lack of drama. Lack of drama. And if you look around at the world right now, you can't drive down the street, you can't go to a grocery store, you can't turn on a television without drama. And drama is what keeps all the muck and the mire stirred up in our lives. And when you get to the point where you're UnFuckWithAble and you can actually claim this statement, and I recommend you write this down, but you can actually claim this statement and own it and make that a part of your life and not let other people's opinions, ideas, judgments get in the way. You are well on your way to being an enlightened individual. Part of enlightenment is lack of drama, peace. 600 on the level of consciousness is peace. That alone is worth the price of admission, is to get to 600. 700 is enlightenment. That's not that big of a deal. peace is more important. 500 is love, 600 is peace, 700 is enlightenment. If you can get to 500 and then to 600, which is peace, you've got a pretty darn good life, and you can accomplish a lot at that level. Why aren't we there, especially as the human species? Well, first of all, let me back up. Let me talk about our identity, okay? So I'm going to read you another piece on identity, because this is really crucial to what I just went over. And it's from the book, You Are a Spiritual Being Having a Human Experience. And it is the shift in identity, the shift in identity. If it is true that we create reality unerringly, how we identify ourselves, what we think we really are, is fundamental to the whole process. Now, let me clear something up right away. Part of the new age bullshit that's out there right now is that you create reality. You create reality. And nothing could be further from the truth. I do not create the craziness going on in Washington, D.C. I do not create the theft that goes on through lobbyists and bribes and everything that's in our political system. You or I do not create wars, famines, all that other kind of stuff. What we create is our individual reality. That's what I want you to understand. The New Age movement wants you to think that you create it all. And I've had people come to me in sessions and say, why did I create this? Why did I create that? Why is the world still this way? Well, the world is going to be the way the world's going to be. You're in an amusement park and you came here to be entertained. You came here to learn lessons. You came here to leave the world a little bit better place, but you didn't come here to change it. It's not for you to do. This world is the way it is because of collection of souls that are on it at this time. And all you can do right now is deal with who you are and deal with your reality. Don't try to take on the whole world. So you're not creating the trees, the sky, the earth. You're not creating the wars, the famine, the plagues, or whatever is going on, but you are creating your response to that all the time. And if you can respond out of peace and love and harmony, that echoes to the people around you. And then they respond that way. And then the next person responds that way. The next person responds that way. So I've said many times in these sessions that we're not going to change the world by electing the next corrupt politician. We only are going to change the world by changing ourselves first and then touching everybody around us. Okay. I just want to clarify that. All right, so I'm going to start over. I'm sorry. If it is true that we create reality unerringly, how we identify ourselves, in other words, what we think we really are, is fundamental to the whole process. If we identify ourselves as powerless and ultimately separated from the rest of being, then the universe is always going to give back a reflection that's consistent with what we're putting out. The universe is always giving back a reflection of what's consistent with what we're putting out. So if you're getting drama, you're putting drama into the world somewhere. Stop it. Stop it. Just, it's not worth it. It's not worth the upset to your nervous system. If you identify yourself as a powerless victim, it is as if you were giving a command to the universe to behave just as if this were so. The result, the entire universe conforms to that command and says yes to it, and you receive confirmation from it that you have no power. So if you're acting like a victim, if you're thinking like a victim, you get treated like a victim, is basically what that says. You get what you put out. That's always true. That's how we create reality, our reality. We tend to miss the cause and effect relationship between our thoughts and our world. Very simply, we only see what we expect to see because we are unwittingly, unknowingly at the effect of our own dysfunctional, conscious, unconscious patterns. That's very important, and that's what I've said all along. I'm going to repeat it. We tend to miss the cause and effect relationship between our thoughts and our world. Very simply, we only see what we expect to see because we are unwittingly, unknowingly at the effect of our own dysfunctional, unconscious patterns. And this is what I'm talking about here when I say the average human is a collection of trauma, triggers, conditioning, and fear. So if in your body, mind, feel complex, remember the diagram I've had up here for the past couple of weeks. If your field is full of trauma, emotional triggers, emotional conditioning, and fear, then that's what your world is reflecting back to you, because the source is you. So coming out of your heart chakra, you're sending out scalar waves to the universe, and embedded in that is trauma, triggers, conditioning, and fear. Guess what you're getting back? Now, the shorthand is you're getting back drama. But you're going to get back circumstances, situations, bosses that you work for that are absolute assholes, any number of things, because the field is putting that out. The field is full of this, and that's what you're sending out. That's what you're getting back. So the way you fix that is to work on the self, work on the field, clear this stuff from the field. You send out a clearer signal to the universe responds in kind. And the universe literally responds in kind. And I've said this before also, where, like Jesus said in the Bible, heaven is at hand. And for me, heaven is at hand. Heaven is right here, right now, in this moment. Heaven is spending this moment of my life with all of you. It is a magnificent honor to be sitting here talking to you and espousing these things. Heaven is right here at this moment. No drama, no trauma, no shock, no panic. Heaven's right here, right now. But my field's pretty darn clear. Yours can be too. And that's the stuff we're doing week in and week out. Okay, is clearing this from the field, getting rid of this stuff. These patterns are sustained by energy from the past that is stuck in the body, mind, feel complex, actually, and remains there, symptomatic of what in rebirthing are called incompletions, incomplete emotions, incomplete actions and intentions for past lives, and from the trauma of birth and from childhood. Okay. What is clear is that we need to shift the command we are giving to reality by shifting our identity and our inner image. This is how you shift it. You get rid of this stuff. You get rid of this junk. And then when you issue a command to the universe, it's out of purity and love instead of trauma, triggers, conditioning, and fear. And I've said it over and over, and I'll keep saying it over and over, and I'm thoroughly convinced of it. I know it to be true, is that your natural state is being happy, healthy, joyful, fearless, loving, and alive. Happy, healthy, joyful, fearless, loving, and alive. I can walk down my driveway to the sidewalk, look up at the moon, and the feeling is incredible. It's one of absolute ecstasy. I'm not smoking pot. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not doing alcohol or anything like that to get that feeling. That's who I am at my core. That's who you are at your core. That's who you are. And that's who you came here to be. But you came into a world that instead filled you up with trauma, triggers, conditioning, and fear. See the difference? What is clear is that we need to shift the command we are giving to reality by shifting our identity, our inner image of who we are, from being a victim to being a master, from being an isolated individual to taking responsibility for being as a whole. Now, that doesn't mean you have to shift the world. That doesn't mean you have to change the world or take on the burdens of the world. But it means that when you do your work, you're actually doing work for the whole. When you do your work, you're doing work for the whole. When you do your work and you become as clear as possible and embody as much of your consciousness as possible, you change the lives of those around you, your immediate family, and then your family beyond that, your neighbors. You literally have an impact on people by being an example of beauty in this world. And God knows we need more of that right now. We need example of people who are in their power, standing in their power, standing firm in their convictions of who they are. And then that ripples. It's like dropping a pebble in a pond. And you can watch those ripples as they go out further and further and further, and eventually come to shore and touch the shore. When you do your work, you're changing the world. All right, let's keep going. So basically, and we're going to do some work around this tonight with the energetic clearings that we're going to do. And we're going to go after trauma, emotional triggers, conditioning, and fear. Basically, what you want to do is get to the point where you live by this saying right here. And this says, what you think of me is none of my business. Just feel into that for a moment. If you could walk around in your day and everybody you interact with and everybody you come in contact with and all your family members and all your friends, if you could interact with them and be authentic and just be happy, healthy, joyful, fearless, loving, and alive, doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. That doesn't mean you don't make errors. That doesn't mean you don't offend somebody, but you don't let it get you down. You don't let it catch you or snag you in your day-to-day activity. You just don't let it get there.